Little People, Big World season premiere, Zach gets rushed to the hospital exclusive Dear Loves, welcome to TLC drama. Please do subscribe my YouTube channel. In an exclusive clip from season 25, Tori Roloff has to come to her husband's aid, as he suffers a medical emergency. The last 10 years, Zach has had really bad migraines almost once a month, and they've never been able to really pinpoint what they are, Tori says in a confessional interview. He would get a headache and then he would be treated for the headache, and then the pain would subside. As Tori is explaining her husband's symptoms, a clip of him in the hospital doubled over in pain on a hospital bed runs. Zach has dealt with these headaches for way too long, but this time has escalated very quickly, she says. In her own separate interview, Zach's mother, Amy Roloff, recounts the moment that Tori called her and told her that Zach would be going to the hospital. It was a little nerve-wracking that Zach had to be rushed to the hospital, Amy says. And I tried to make sure that whatever information Tori relayed to me, that I would go ahead and relay to Matt and all the kids. Back in her interview, Tori recounts making sure they discovered what was going on with her husband, before she even considered leaving his side. I was not going to leave that hospital without more answers, she says as the clip ends. In February 2023, Zach had an emergency surgery to repair a shunt in his brain. In a post on Instagram, Tori shared a picture of her husband after he underwent the operation. 3 days later, Zach gave his followers an update and shared more details about the procedure. I had a shunt revision surgery after getting really sick, he shared in part. The shunt has always been something I've had but became very real this past week for our family. Thank you to Tori Roloff for being the rock this week in our family and rallying the kids. My mom for coming up twice in the night so I could go to the ER. And the doctors and nurses at the hospital who advocated for me and continue to advocate and care for their patients every day. I'm happy to be home but thinking about everyone still in the ER, ICU, or neurology that can't be home yet. On Tuesday's season 25 premiere of Little People, Big World, the 33-year-old's years-long battle with migraines came to a scary turn when it was revealed that the shunt that sends fluid from his brain to his stomach needed to be repaired. In the midst of the emergency surgery, Amy had to step in and assist with Zach and Tori's 3 children, Jackson, 6, Lila, 4, and Josiah, 1. That was definitely a very scary moment, Amy told ET's Rachel Smith. Even as a mom and I really had to, put myself in check and not just go in there, because he's married now. Tori is there with him as well, and so I think the biggest thing is just letting them know that I'm here if they need me. Amy shared that while Tori and Zach made back-and-forth trips to the hospital, she was called in the early hours of the morning to rush to their house and be with their children. Still, she didn't mind as it gave her a chance to keep her grandchildren's minds at ease. I stayed with the kids for a little bit because it was very important for me to have her Tori there with him, Amy said. I think this was her first experience of her going through something like that with Zach. Despite the severity of the situation, Amy, who experienced Zach's prior shunt surgeries when he was a child, remained optimistic. There's always that hope, she said, of keeping a positive mindset. I'm a faith-based person. Even if it did get scary or worse, I thought everything's gonna be okay. It may take a while but everything's going to be okay. And it was. He found a really good neurosurgeon and stuff and I just wanted to make it comfortable and easy for the kids. In the end, Amy shared that Zach is doing well, and it's hard to believe that he even had the health setback. While he's fully recovered, Amy, who is also the mother of Zach's twin brother, Jeremy, as well as Jacob and Molly, is still the mama bear. Zach is doing great now, she said. You would never have known. The family's doing great. But as a mom I said, Zach, you gotta pay attention. You gotta pay attention to your body. And it's just recognizing those signs. She added, I'm glad everything's well. Zach's doing great. He's playing soccer and coaching. He's doing all sorts of stuff. Last week, Zach and Tori celebrated the 1-year milestone of his recovery on their Raising Heights podcast. We're up on a year on that, and I have not had a migraine since then, Zach said. Thank you for being there with me with everything. You took care of all the kids that whole time. My mom came in. He added of the experience, I feel like that was a fun story. It's been a year and we're very celebratory about it. Talking with ET's Rachel Smith in an exclusive interview, the reality television star, 61, gave an update on the upcoming season and the personal growth viewers will witness, 7 years after she and Matt, 62, went through a tense separation. I think one of the things you see is me changing and just being with Matt, Amy says, adding that her own husband, Chris Malek, and Matt's fiancée, Karen Chandler, have helped their situation. Amy married Chris in 2021, while Matt popped the question to Karen in 2023. Just being with Matt and Karen, we get involved in a big fundraising event with an organization that means a lot to me, Amy adds, previewing a storyline from season 25. Collaborating on a project of this magnitude is a major step for the mom of 4 who said she didn't want anything to do with Matt for quite some time. In her new interview, however, she says that a hard examination of her own ways led to an awakening that changed the situation between them for the better. But then it's like, well, Amy, you built up this wall, but who's this wall keeping out? Is it you or is it him? And he could care less, Amy shares. So I think with Chris' help, Chris has been a great help to bring that wall down and say, you know, he's still the father of my kids, still the grandfather of my kid. We or should say I should get along with Matt and Karen. Even so, she admits that they are far from being at a point like they once were during their nearly 30-year marriage. I mean, we're not gonna be best friends, but we enjoy our time, we had a focus, we accomplished something really great, Amy says, referencing the event they put on together. We still get together as family too, so it's to me, it really just tells a story about a family that's continued to grow, continue to change. But I think the ultimate element of the whole thing is, but we're still family. We may say things, we may do this, you know, some tense moments and stuff, but, you know, in the end, we're family, she adds. Malek, who also talked with ET, agreed wholeheartedly and added that they have since even ventured into the vicinity of friendship with Matt and Karen. It took a while to get there and it's, you know, the old expression time heals, and we've gotten to that point now where Matt and Amy have moved on to other and better relationships, he says. We actually, you know, get together once in a while too. Matt, Karen, Amy and I hang and we have good laughs and good conversations. Unfortunately, I've witnessed some really nasty divorces where 2 couples ended up hating each other when they were done, and I'm so glad that we're not in that situation, he adds. Jackson Roloff underwent a major surgery to correct bowing in his legs. The little boy's mom, Tori Roloff, confirmed the news on Instagram to keep fans in the loop. Alongside a shot of the youngster resting in his hospital bed, Tori acknowledged, "Today has been one of the hardest days I've ever had. Watching your child in pain is never something a parent wants to go through. However, we are trusting his doctors and our Lord that this was the best decision for him." Jackson was born with dwarfism in 2017, and a couple of years later, Tori and husband Zach Roloff confirmed with Us Weekly that he had yet to experience any major health issues. He's had a couple ear infections, which can be common with dwarfism. There's a lot of potentials, but for now it's too early to tell, Zach explained. We actually have the same pediatrician for him that was my pediatrician growing up, so that's been really nice because he's familiar with dwarfism and those things. The recovery from Zach and Tori Roloff's young son, Jackson's, recent leg surgery is more difficult than the couple anticipated. During an upcoming episode of the hit show Little People, Big World, Jackson's parents admit the youngster is having a hard time after undergoing the procedure in November 2021, leading Zach and Tori to grow increasingly concerned. In the clip, Tori can be heard asserting, "There is legitimately something wrong with Jackson." The worried mother explains, "He isn't progressing like they said that he would." Moreover, Jackson appears to be in pain, leading his mom to make another doctor's appointment to make sure his limbs aren't significantly damaged. Tori hopes that Jackson's recovery is just slow, for whatever reason. As Zach explained to his own mother, Amy Roloff, "If something isn't healing right or growing right, I want to adjust, especially before this new baby comes." Jackson turned 5 in May, but the Roloffs have yet to update fans further on his progress. Zach and Tori did welcome their third child, Josiah, on April 30, however, sharing the happy news on Instagram. "You surprised us all by coming early, but also the wait felt like a lifetime," they captioned the post. As Life and Style reported at the time, the couple previously suffered a miscarriage. Tori confirmed Zach had remained by her side throughout the ordeal. Endured it without his support. Tori and Zach Roloff are prepared to do whatever it takes to support Jackson. The recovery from Zach and Tori Roloff's young son, Jackson's, recent leg surgery is more difficult than the couple anticipated. During an upcoming episode of the hit show Little People, Big World, Jackson's parents admit the youngster is having a hard time after undergoing the procedure in November 2021, leading Zach and Tori to grow increasingly concerned. In the clip, Tori can be heard asserting, "There is legitimately something wrong with Jackson." The worried mother explains, "He isn't progressing like they said that he would." Moreover, Jackson appears to be in pain, leading his mom to make another doctor's appointment to make sure his limbs aren't significantly damaged. Tori hopes that Jackson's recovery is just slow, for whatever reason. As Zach explained to his own mother, Amy Roloff, "If something isn't healing right or growing right, I want to adjust, especially before this new baby comes." Jackson turned 5 in May, but the Roloffs have yet to update fans further on his progress. Zach and Tori did welcome their third child, Josiah, on April 30, however, sharing the happy news on Instagram. "You surprised us all by coming early, but also the wait felt like a lifetime," they captioned the post. As Life and Style reported at the time, the couple previously suffered a miscarriage. Tori confirmed Zach had remained by her side throughout the ordeal, and she couldn't have endured it without his support. Tori and Zach Roloff are prepared to do whatever it takes to support Jackson.